All right, first and foremost, I want to thank God for allowing everyone to be here safely, and giving me and really the town of Fort White this opportunity. And thank you all for coming out. I think it's always good to have community engagement and participation. So thank you. Oh, thank you.
Oh, here, I thought you were going to hold it
My
up.
logistics expert right there.
Takes a village.
So I want to give everyone some background about me and a little of my family background as well. So all four of my grandparents immigrated here from Cuba. They were Christian missionaries in Cuba, and when the Castro regime and communism took over, they fled here just because things went south fast, and there was religious persecution. So all of them were missionaries, so they were persecuted. Both my grandfathers actually did 3 years over there in a prison in Cuba. Other family did as well. So I mention that and I bring that up because as someone who has heard stories from how it is in other countries, it just makes me so extremely grateful that I was born here in the United States.
Amen.
And in Florida, because it's really not like how it is here everywhere else. I mean, it's really not. So I always just say that because I always express my gratitude just for being able to be born here. So that's why I mentioned that. So I was born in Miami, Florida, and actually my mom
Whoops.
she's eating, so we won't mess with her. When I was probably about, I don't even think I was 5 or 6 when we moved to High Springs. So that's where we were raised, is there in High Springs, Florida. And I lived there till I was 22, I think I was, or I had just turned 23. I graduated from UF in 2014. From there, I moved back down to South Florida for 2 years, and from there, I was recruited, and that's where I went and I joined the Marine Corps. So I shipped out to Officer Candidate School January of 2017, and I commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps March 18 of 2017. My role there, the title is called, you probably never heard of it, but it's called an adjutant. And what it is it's an administrative and a legal officer for the command to handle all the administrative matters for a command and matters of discipline and awards and so on and so forth. So I did that for 4 years, and I separated in 2021. Honorable discharge. I left. I was career designated, and I was selected for promotion. So I left on good terms. And that was March of 2021. September of 2021, we moved to Fort White. So I've been here for 3 years. This month actually is our 3 years, marks 3 years that we've been here in Fort White. And the reason I'm running for mayor is because I think I want to see a few things, but I'll talk on 3 that I want to see, that I would like to see happen, that I think would be good for Fort White if they happen. One is small businesses should feel welcome. I think they should feel welcome by the town council. Now, there's a balance there. But so long as it's safe, so long as it isn't a hazard, so long as it isn't causing community problems, if it isn't an issue of decency, et cetera, then we should accommodate them, that's my perspective. That we should be able to accommodate them. That's how we're going to get, I think, the good kind of growth that we want. I would rather see smaller mom and pop style run things than, larger chain type, whether they be restaurants or businesses in general. So that's one, and I think having that environment where businesses feel that way, I think will cause just natural growth in Fort White. I think Fort White is a desirable place. It has that small town feel. We got the springs all around. I think people will naturally want to come here organically. And so that's one. And the other two, they go hand in hand, which is transparency and I guess communication also, and then just community participation. Because, and I'll give examples. So there are times where, I think every time actually. So if there's a proposed change to an ordinance, when you go online to read about it, they say, hey, come into town hall if you want to read a copy, and sit down, come to town hall and read it. I mean, I think just post it online, right? I think just post it online. That way people from their homes, almost, probably the vast majority of people now have Wi-Fi. They can go, they can read about it, and I think that will encourage participation. I think it's just like just an extra unnecessary step to put there for people to have to go in, then read about it, whereas if you made it a little easier for them, maybe they would be encouraged. Maybe they would feel like they were informed enough, like, hey, yeah, we are going to go to a town council meeting, and so on and so forth. So I think that's one, and then I'll give credit where it's due. I think it's good what the town council is going to do tomorrow. They're going to have, I believe they're going to have their monthly meeting here at the community center.
That's right.
It's a situation where they expect more community participation, so they're having you here. I think that's good. That's good. I know I've been to be fair, it hasn't been a whole lot, but there's been a couple times where, people have had to stand outside or wait outside, so I think they've already taken a step in the right direction. Hey, if you're expecting a lot of community feedback, input, participation, just have it here. Have it here so people feel like heard and they don't, have to stand outside or wait outside, and everyone can be heard. And that kind of plays into the communication piece. Is there have been times where maybe it's not the case for everyone, but I'm speaking from my experience. It's been sometimes a little difficult just to get good information on what's actually going on. So that's another thing I'll say. If there's an issue that is an issue that has a lot of interest in it, a lot of eyeballs on it, then you just make a post on the Town of Fort White website and give a summary. It doesn't even have to be every month, but every so often say, hey, here's what's going on with this. XYZ, ABC, here's why. Because again, I think that goes into the participation piece. I think if people felt a little bit more informed, and it was easier to get the information, maybe there would be a little more input. And I guess the last, I'll leave kind of with these two things. I've been asked before, like, hey, what's like your grand vision? What's your, maybe I'm traumatized like from when I was in the Marine Corps, but my experience has been that, people in a position of power shouldn't have a whole lot of ideas. You can have good ideas, that's fine. But in the Marine Corps, we call it being a bright idea fairy. So I'm not that. What I do think is the appropriate role is to get that community feedback and then to facilitate it, right? To see what you can do to respond to what the people are telling you to do, right? They elected for you, they put you there, do what they want. Again, and that's all in constraints. It has to make sense, it has to be lawful, et cetera, ABC, XYZ. And then the last thing I'll commit to, and that what you can expect from me is honesty. Look, if I don't know, I'm going to say that. I don't know everything. I don't have as much, even maybe just local experience. I know a lot of people have been here for a long time, which is good. But hey, if I don't know, I'll say that. And I will work on it and research it and get back to you. So I think I won't talk about, I'm guessing somebody might ask me about the water, so I'm not going to talk about that right now because no one asked, and I'll talk about it. But that's really it. And I want to, at this point, just open it up. And if anyone has questions, comments, concerns, anything you would like to see, now's when I really, opportunity for me to hear that and respond. I think she raised it. Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think about the 109 houses supposed to be built on 18?
Exactly where
I don't think that's happening.
That I didn't hear about
I
that.
think you got
That's been shot down.
That's been shot down.
It's been shut down?
Yeah.
Well,
I-
well,
Oh, I think maybe you meant oh, yeah.
Rocky's problem.
Rocky.
Right,
Oh, so it's been shut down?
subdivision, yes, yeah.
I didn't
That
go
didn't
to
pan out.
meeting.
If-
Oh, yeah.
Do you know if interjecting back, has he had any plans or any formation about taking this on further and expanding it?
So not that I'm aware of the last, and we got a council member here, but the last thing that I saw at the council meetings was that they voted to, I believe, move some of that property back. So initially it was fell under county land, some of it, they moved it back, and they moved it, annexed it into Fort White, right? So the last, and I forget what it was, but they moved it back out to county land, so I don't think so. I can't speak for anyone, but I don't think so.
Hey, so thank you for doing this, I appreciate it. So two questions. One, there seems to be a lot of tension between the town of Fort White and the
county commission.
So, the county?
The county.
How would you rectify that? Because it's been going on for years, right? So if you were mayor, you'd be coming into something where there's just been a lot of tension within other members and stuff like that. And the second is the whole water issue. There seems to be lots of questions around it, several options going on, a lot of grants that Fort White has received. So what are your thoughts around solving that issue as well?
Yeah, good idea, yeah, here, go ahead.
Give him the mic.
Sorry,
We're gonna put you on the spotlight now.
Rinse and repeat.
So my question was, first, there's been a lot of tension for years between the town of Fort White and the Columbia County commissioners. So what would you do to rectify that? Then my second question is around the water. There seems to be a lot of misinformation, options, things said that may not be accurate. So how would you solve that?
All right, thank you. So as far as the relationship with the county, I think it's important. They provide, potentially it's in dispute how many services, but they do provide some services for us. And my answer to your question is, I think being professional and going out of your way to try to communicate with them in accordance with the sunshine, statutes, I think goes a long way. Perhaps a lot of the situation might just be, either a misunderstanding, or if I say something to you on social media, you're going to say something back. So maybe we don't have to go about it that way. We can be professional. That was huge. As an officer in the Marine Corps, that was utterly untolerated for an officer. Just not even in the question. So I think speaking with them, having the information necessary to say, hey, look, county, hey, look, this is why we believe what we believe. This is what we're working on. I don't think that they're hiding in the bushes to jump out and get us. I don't think. If they are, then well, that's different. But just being open and honest with them and saying, hey, look, here's why we're doing what we're doing. Why are you saying we can't do this? And put the onus and the burden on them. Now it's in their court to justify why they want to do something or they don't want to do something that makes sense. Right? I think that's effective. I've seen it be very effective, especially to someone who's like, it's not a chain of command, but kind of, who's above you. Hey, sir, XYZ, ABC, why? Typically, one, they'll probably do the right thing, hopefully just because it's the right thing, but two, if not, it'll be because, oh, you know what, this kind of looks bad for us. So, you put your best foot forward. You see where that goes. I think we should do that. And this might kind of play a little bit into your water question. So for the water issue, That, and I think it's a broader issue, which is a lot of decisions can be made, and they probably don't require a whole lot of research. You know, to be fair, a lot of decisions might not. Some decisions do. The quality of water for the town of Fort White, that's an issue that requires a lot of research. I'm not pro or against it. I don't have a dog in the fight where I have an agenda where I'm gonna say, this is what we have to do. If we can do the research and we can show that it's profitable for the town of Fort White, we have good and clean water, we can manage it on our own, let's do it. Let's do it. Why not? But let's dot our I's and cross our T's and make sure that that is the case. Because again, for an issue like water, that's not an issue you want to be wrong on and switch over. That's not the right way. So, and we'll see. You know, there will be that meeting tomorrow. I think in large portion they're having me here to discuss that water issue. I don't think the council is just going to be like, yeah, just give us back the water and we'll just kind of figure it out. I don't think. You know, I think they're going to do, you know, take those steps. And looking back, just kind of understanding what the lessons learned are. Initially, when we had all those grants, it would have made sense to do that research back then. Maybe we would have been somewhere else, maybe not. I don't know. It's the past. I don't know. But the research would have been valuable either way. So yeah, I think you know, aim twice, shoot once. And when it comes to water, when it comes to now sewage, we got, you know, the first phase of that. Yeah, just in general. But I am for, look, anything that we can do and manage on our own well, safely, of a good quality, and make money, yes. Why not? So that's my thing. I can't speak. I see a lot of, because the Ellisville water and this water, I don't know. I don't know. But let's find out. You know, let's do the research, present it to the people of Fort White, present it to the county, and then move forward. So, yeah, you're welcome. Anyone got anything else? Oh, yes.
I'm Bruce Cavey and I live in Fort White. You had, I've lived here out in the area for probably, I've lived out there for, since '85. A couple of questions, but my main one was, I've been hearing for years, literally, about the sewage treatment plant that's coming or potentially coming. What are your thoughts on that? Do you foresee something coming shortly? Is the city or the state going to be able to provide grants to install this? Because what I have heard through the grapevine that it would cost the average taxpayer $25,000 for how long this installs. What that is do at this point. Second and most important question is, I am one of my neighbors recently retired from Audubon, big into birds. She had contacted Audubon, which she was associated with, as the county, Columbia County was, to get funding or at least some promotion for tourism for, of course, the Ichitucky, attracting wildlife, birding, which is very big, very profitable, and also the Springs itself. Can you foresee or anticipate something like the Depot, Mayor's Park, being a tourist attraction, or at least some of expand on
that? So for the first question for the sewage, I think it's up on the website. I looked at it. So yes, there's grants coming in for the sewage, and don't quote me on the numbers, but it was a lot. And I believe the first phase is already in the works. And from what I recall, and don't quote me because I, need to do better research on that. But if I'm remembering correctly, the grant money expires December 31st of 2026. So I'm guessing, I don't know for a fact, I'm guessing that's when they expect it to be completed by. Maybe, right? I think that's why, that'd be a question we'd have to,
Is that phase one, which I understand has already been installed, and that's the spray fields?
so the grant money expiration is December 2026. I'm guessing that will be the completion of phase 2, totally. I'm guessing because if the grants expire by then,
What is phase two?
phase 2, I believe, is the actual hookup to, I think it was, I forget what the number was, to the commercial districts of parcels, like down to commercial first,
Residential would be
Correct.
phase three possibly.
right? So that's as knowledgeable as I am on the sewage. So I can't, like, I don't have like, I guess an exact answer on that aside from what I gave. For the wildlife and the tourism factor, so I know the council obtained the community
Development.
development grant,
Grant.
community development block
Are you talking
grant,
about city or county?
city.
City.
So the city obtained that. So if that can be used, I don't know what the regulations on that specifically are. If we can use that for tourism as it applies to the spur, I don't think Ichituckany is in the town of Fort White. So I don't know if that can, I don't know if we can kind of finagle, go ahead.
Concerning a grant for the birds, that would go through, or through Olino, I'm sorry.
A grant for Audubon would go through, this is a educated guess, Ichituckany Springs or Olino, like I know Olino has something going now, Audubon, and they have quite a lot of grant opportunities. As far as the depot, we held a meeting recently, we're trying to get Main Street and have our town designated as a Main Street organization, and surrounding towns, y'all know High Springs, how it might be something as simple as, I always refer to banners on the light post, or another simple one would be, hey, it's October, no pun, but hey, it's October, businesses, let's all put a bale of hay in front of our business and put pumpkins out just to welcome October. Then it can get a lot more in depth. We don't have a grant for that, but we can work on that. Part of that plan is to revitalize the depot, the caboose. The caboose itself is one of very few original train cars, particularly a caboose, not abuse, that's a whole nother subject. Caboose, still semi-intact. I don't know if you've seen one in Palatka. There's one isn't it Chiefland that has one? On the way to Cedar Key, what is that, Chiefland?
We're in High Springs too, I think, isn't there? Behind that.
Yes, High Springs.
Yeah,
has
High
one.
Springs has
Gainesville
one.
has one.
And you don't have to have a caboose. That caboose is just originally from Fort White as well as the depot. I don't know how long y'all have been here, and you can grab this whenever you want to. But that depot was the original one here and moved away for years and years, and we got that back through opportunities from another mayor as well as community members, and that's just a gold mine. The depot is restored. Did anyone go to the Main Street meeting? Weren't you satisfied with the building itself?
It's beautiful.
As a child, I hunted bottles under that building, like, 5 cents for a Coke bottle. So there's a lot of value in that. Did that answer anything, or am I just rambling?
Tell everybody who you are.
I'm Catherine Terry. I'm a town council member. I took the seat of Travis King, so I was appointed rather than voted in. I live right here on 47 where the Coca-Cola sign is on my house, along with lots of other things. And I'm from Gainesville, but I've lived here over 20 years. Concerning the water, I keep looking over here at James. The entire 20 years that I've lived here, I've gotten that piece of paper on my screen door of contaminated water, and it's really not a simple problem.
No.
It's not us against them, and it involves a lot of money. I don't think that, now I'm speaking as a town council member as well as a layperson, I don't think that the town of Fort White has just thrown any money away. They did receive $1 million grant, but that was in conjunction with the county's grants to try to resolve the water situation. And the water situation may take a long time to resolve. We may get some water in the meantime, but it's not just gonna be a magic cure.
And yeah, and I didn't, if I came across as intimating that the town wasted money, that's my.
No, I understand.
Oh, okay. But, so my point though was, I think the county put, I think at least 4 or 5 million into it, you know, 6 million. Okay.
6 or 7.
All right, got our fact checker right there, so. And so that Ellisville coming down, I think it's State Road 18, at least I live right there, so I saw it come through there. I think it was the Swanee Water Management District, yeah, gave us I think it was 100 acres of land, which supposedly has very good clean water there. Well, my point is, hey, look, if this research had been done back then, and we had kind of just said, hey, well, let's think about this. Let's do research. Who knows? Let's ask, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe we could have gotten that 6 to 7 million put into a plant there. And then we would have our own water. Maybe it would be profitable. Maybe it would be, you know, clean. But
We only had 1 million.
we had 1 million.
If I personally had 1 million, you'd never see me again. But it's gonna take a lot of money to resolve the water issue.
Yeah, well, why are we going after clean water? Why don't we clean the water up we have?
Well,
That's the problem.
That's being
What's the
proposed
problem?
as well.
Reverse osmosis. It doesn't get any easier than that. He spent time on his ship. He drank seawater for years. Went through a reverse osmosis. It's very simple.
Come to the
It's-
I didn't drink
tomorrow.
We'll be
I
here.
will be here.
Oh, we'll be here.
Jesus Christ, reverse osmosis has been around for years, decades. Clean
So,
water.
and you know what, and it may be, Kevin, I'm drawing a blank on his last name. He was working for Johnson, thank you. He was doing the water here for Fort White for 3 years, and, you know, according to him, it may not be so difficult, but maybe now we need to track it down. You know, we just need to find out. We need to do the research, and we need to track that down, because it may, you know, things come up. It may seem easy on the surface. You never know. I'm not, you know.
I do have a little input regarding this issue. From what I understand from Kevin, because he's come out to my area on a regular basis to open up the lines and flush them. Supposedly there are 3 key points, I guess it's east, west, and south, that the lines literally stop. They do not do a complete 360, which means the water gets stagnant. That's why they have to flush the lines, and that's why this problem has continued to occur, is that there is not ample water flowing through the whole system. It basically stops, it's dead. That's why problems, from what I understand from Kevin, are.
That is a problem. If I can interject really quickly, our water, the source of our water that's coming out of those spigots right there right now, it comes from surface water. It does not come out of the aquifer. It's been looked into years ago by council. These ideas of doing this, those have all been looked at by previous mayors and previous councils. Even the current mayor and council voted to bring this water from Ellisville after looking at all these options, and we were gave all the options. The water is of low quality, so it has to be cleaned and cleaned and cleaned till then they can't filter the cleaning agents back out good enough. That's what it fails for month after month.
Are you talking about the water from the aquifer?
From the water that comes to my house from the city wells. I'm told that those wells did not go deep enough to go into the aquifer. There's a sinkhole on the property, there's stormwater runoff, that water is dirty water. So they have all these systems and they've tried different things over the years to clean this water. the bottom line is so much disinfectants remain in the water when it gets to my house that it's known to cause cancer and neurological other problems. Some, it's not good. They talked about recently about doing a torpedo and drilling deeper. It's still on polluted land.
And this is the newer piece of property where these.
No, sir, nothing's been done out there. When I was on council and all that was looked at and the professionals came and testified and all this and other, yeah, that's probably great water. That would be great water for the town. The cost to build it all out, to pump it into town, if you go over there and look at the city water plant, which is right behind the fire department, right over here, those tanks are crumbling. We don't need just new wells, we need all kinds of new stuff. Where's the money to come from? You can vote to do anything in the world you want to do, but who's going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for it? That's what stumped us, and why this solution that they're going to be talking about tomorrow night here, which I hope everybody can come that will come.
What time is that?
It's tough. There's no, it's like they're saying, there's no quick and no easy answer to it. I've been in Ellisville today getting water samples because I saw those yucky looking pictures on social media. I wanted to know. And some of the people there are still on wells, some are on the utility water. I only found odd off looking water that was a little teeny bit of a yellow color to it from one place. It was Subway, and there was one employee, and the people were lined up out the door. I didn't dare bother the man, but I walked around and looked. I didn't see any backflow preventer out front. That indicates to me they're not on the utility water, they're on a well. The other places I stopped and drew water, it's crystal clear water. It looks just like this.
James, I'm referring to the Facebook comments from several of the residents that live up in the Ellisville area that were complaining that they are on this new water line. How long have they been on that? This was not mentioned.
I don't know
in the
those
comments.
answers. I don't.
Because some of that water was like.
The town just recently had to take extra steps because of the rise in the aquifer from this rainy year we've had and the aquifer coming up.
And I think without having all that information in front of me, I would tend to agree, I think, with what James is saying, that it's probably not, and what the council member said, I don't think it's gonna be as easy, so, hey, we're just $10,000 is beautiful. I don't foresee that. And look, the past is the past. James says the research was done, okay, well, let's do more, so.
Nobody that's working for the town now, elected or otherwise, had anything to do with the town government back then. So they don't know that the council already looked at all this stuff and the professionals came. A lot of records were lost when we lost our 32-year clerk, Miss Revels, who was old school. She wasn't hardly about computers or the internet or any of that stuff. And nobody was going to the meetings back then that's going now. So they don't know. All this is already, the work's been done. It's been done. That's part of why the current council, there's newer members, but they voted to bring this water from Ellisville. They had already looked at all that stuff.
Right, and that's why I'm not saying, hey, yes, 100, we can do this, we can do that. We just need to find out, and if that's the answer, then we just need to.
Whatever the answer is,
Right.
let's do it.
Right. So, but real quick, does anyone have anything else? Because I've been on the water for a little bit, which is fine, but I just want to be sure nobody else had anything. Oh, yes.
Just another, I don't know if this is gonna be part of the council meeting here tomorrow night, but I was shocked when I got the proposed tax bill from Columbia County.
Ay.
The new city tax, for me, is $870. Just kind of surprising. I'd like to know more about it. What is that doing? Why so much so quickly?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think, I'll do the piece and I'll let you. So, look, nobody wants more taxes, right? But at the end of the day, I think the burden is on the council to justify that. Justify it to the people. This is why we want more money. If it makes sense, most people will probably pay a little bit more money to get something that they want. But I don't know what the justification is. I don't know. I'll let the council member here have a turn. So I can't say that that I support it or not. From what I've heard, typically the millage rate isn't set quite so high, especially not initially. So I know that did shock a lot of people. That's the question is, what is it for? Right? What's the flip side of the coin?
Exactly.
So I don't know. But here, let me. I don't know if you. Another question. Yeah, but.
Part of the flip side of the coin could be water, and we all have to have water. But the tax that you're referring to, and I know that we all got the figure on our tax proposal, is just a proposal. And that came from the county, not the town of Fort White. And that's also just a glimpse of, there's a lot of friction between the town and the county, because there's not that open, honest communication that we all pretend that we grow up in. I don't know that it's really anywhere, to be honest with you. But whenever you're attending a meeting or voting or talking to your neighbor, I just want to encourage you to try to see the full picture and see the long run of how it will benefit you or how it will not benefit you. And I want to use this opportunity to just go out on one more tangent here. If we were to lose the town of Fort White to the county, which I doubt will ever happen, but if it comes to that, our 27, not overnight, but our 27 is going to turn into 90, where you have Wendy's, McDonald's, Dairy Queen, and trust me, I love all those places, but I don't want them here. I want the small mom and pop. I want a gas station that's going to guarantee my car will work, rather than a hole in the ground just pumping something in there. But it's going to take money. Y'all have a question? On the water, on one more thing with the water, all these studies have been done. That doesn't mean they're current. And whatever direction we go with the water, and when I say we, it's you. If you're sitting in here today and you're in the city limits of Fort White, it's on you. It's on you.
That's why I'm here.
But whatever direction that we go, it's gonna cost some money. And, you've got to have water. And that's all.
And there was I forgot to say something, but you talking kind of reminded me. I don't get the impression that the people of the town of Fort White want to just say, hey, yeah, county, yeah, that's all yours. Like what you said, I don't support that, and I mean, unless there's a phenomenal reason that I'm somehow unaware of, yeah, no. But and also, I think you had asked the question. No, you asked about like for tourism, for the waters, or for the bird watching and that. But for the Florida Main Street program, as far as how should that money be used, I think we should get with already existing small businesses. Because we have to start somewhere. If people don't have just fantastic, phenomenal ideas off the top of their head, we got to start somewhere. So, like, we have small business owners, already in Fort White that I think have ideas. And these are small mom and pop. I agree. Like, I don't know that we want a McDonald's or if it's Chick-fil-A. I did think of that, but yeah, I think that's a winner. But
KFC.
I don't know about that.
Main Street is the small business owners.
That's right.
That's exactly what it is.
Right,
It's
so-
to accommodate everyone, but the small business owners take an active role because it's to encourage more business for those business owners. The town council oversees it, but in every town that you go to, which is a Main Street America town, one that stands out for me is a Mount Dora. Have y'all ever been to Mount Dora?
Oh, yeah.
You know, you get that quaint feel. High Springs is one, now this is my opinion of this statement. They've never quite made it. High Springs never quite made it. They keep turning over businesses and whatnot, but they still have that feel. And that's what it is for Fort White. It'll cost money. It won't be like business owners, now that you're involved, you've gotta pay $300 a month dues. It's not that at all, but it's to coordinate the businesses to do things together, which they can do without Main Street. If y'all went to the meeting, Alex, I'm looking at you, or the other guy, what's your name?
Otto.
No, Otto, I'm sorry, but, Ruben, I never know if you're Alex or Ruben. But, we can do those things without it being designated a Main Street town. And I
Right, the
promise
Main-
I'm gonna be quiet here.
Right, no, yeah, no, but that's good. So the Main Street program, right, is just those
It's a
additional funds.
designation. It's a designation, and someone is appointed to get training through the state from people who have done this from town after town after town. The meeting, Doug Saunders is who's turned in the application, and there will only be 5 towns selected for this year to be able to participate in that. That's why I kept pushing, let's do it anyway. Because it's not gonna cost anything to put a bale of hay in front of your, like y'all had the pumpkin pictures and scarecrows and stuff last year, I believe. We could get a photograph. We just coordinate with that, like Karen does something like that, but we're all doing that without communicating to each other. And I'm not saying, you know, nobody talks to each other, I'm just saying there needs to be a better organization plan, a calendar. High Springs does a calendar to all the merchants.
So,
Yeah.
when we had that meeting for the CRA, that's what it was for, it's really for a community redevelopment agency.
That was for Main Street, was the
Yeah, no,
meeting at the
But Main
depot.
Street is just a program we're trying to get sponsored by. But what we did was establish a CRA with an actual officer, with board members, or officers.
That's
which-
Main Street.
No, okay. Regardless of whether we get accepted or not, we are still now a CRA. We still have a CRA in place. That was already voted on about 2 months ago. What we did at this meeting was elect the officers, which we had the president, vice president, treasurer, secretary.
Not for
And then
CRA.
separately was Doug Saunders said we didn't have to have the officers, but it looked better if we had the officers for the purpose of the application. That's what we did. That Main Street program is just a sponsored, like, so they can come, like an apprenticeship program, where they come and they train us on how to get funding, how to apply for grants for the CRA. So, like you said, regardless of whether we get accepted or not, we can still do these things, we can still apply for grants, we can still do that without that sponsorship of Main Street.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
hopefully we still get those things done.
yeah, and I think that's key, what you said, is so long as the small businesses feel comfortable, that people understand and believe that it's exactly what, like you just said, hey, the council's gonna listen to what the small businesses are, you know, are saying to them. They're gonna be the driver. And you're saying so, and probably, I would think it'll be that way. Yeah, I think that's key. And I think there was something else brought up that got lost in the mix, because
We want to make sure that each of you who live in Fort White would like to take a sign too.
oh, yeah, so, and if you,
Yard or your friends.
yeah, and if you live, especially if you live in the town limits, yeah, please, you know, take the signs, put them out there, just so people know, hey, there's an option. But I thought there was something, and now I'm drawing a blank, because I think we got.
Let that incubate for a second. Have you went to the Supervisor of Elections website and pulled up your sample ballot yet and saw your name on there?
No,
I have.
okay,
It looks good on there.
oh, okay, so it's on there, good, all right. very good.
It's on there.
All right.
You're not doing this for nothing tonight.
You're right,
so-
yeah, okay.
Being said one more year. I know that when you're in a canoe or a kayak or any kind of water vessel that you have to put strength into, if you're all rowing in the same direction, you can get exponentially anywhere so much faster and more efficient. And as a community, there's so much value in being unified and all of our voices heard. What would you recommend? What is your thought in unifying the community and ensuring that everybody's voice is heard? And even, you can't please 100% of people, right? Because you have opposing views. But what can you do to bring them together so that they feel valued and heard in your platform? How can you promote that?
I'll go, then you go. So I think that kind of touches on some of the things that I had already mentioned, just the professionalism and putting the information out there so people can easily reach it, and being responsive too. If someone reaches out to you as the mayor or the town council, be responsive and just communicate in a way that says, hey, look, be transparent. This is what we're trying to do. This is why. If you have a suggestion, fantastic. I think a big problem from my perspective is that communication piece. When something is left, when there's a rock that's left unturned, people are, oh, maybe there might be a snake down. There's probably not a snake or anything down there, but just turn over the rock though. I think that's a big part of it. I don't believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm naive. I don't believe there's a whole lot of people that have bad intentions. I really don't. And I'm running against them, but I'm going to say it. Look, I think Ronnie is probably right on a lot of issues. I think he really does want what's best for Fort White. I'm going to be honest, but I think how much time you dedicate to something and the way you go about communicating, that matters too. And that kind of goes into how you're perceived by the people, by the county, by in general. So. Oh, yeah.
First off, I would like to thank you and your family for hosting this and feeding us. It's very good. It's a good meal.
Okay.
What I'd like to know is you talked earlier about the internet. And there's a lot of people on the internet don't have the money for it, don't have the access for it. How are you going to reach them people?
Yeah, pretty good question. Look, I don't know too much about that.
Events like these.
Yeah, well, so I do know, based on what I've heard at the town council meetings, is there's a lot of money up for grabs that we just may not know about. I know I'll get emails, it's actually about the internet, I'll get emails for the, it's this program, that's federally funded, where I think the whole point of it is to try to get internet to rural places. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is, but we can look into and see if there's free money up for grabs. Let's grab it. But we have to know it's there. But that's a really good question. I don't have a great answer, but I'll remember that and look into it. That's my wife.
So I actually, on that note, happened to notice that, I don't know if all of you received one, but we received on our front door a notice of the upcoming meeting tomorrow. And that is the first time that there has ever been a physical posting of a notice of a meeting, the first time that there's a meeting being held at a bigger location, and the first time that it seems like it might be a workshop. So I'm saying, me personally, and I'm sure my husband feels the same way, this should have been happening prior to now, and it should continue to happen, especially for something big. And I don't think that there should be as many things on that agenda tomorrow as there are when we're supposed to be talking about something as big as the water.
I agree.
On its own. It's too big of a problem to throw it at the end of the meeting.
Right.
The other thing I wanted to address is that there are little things here and there that come up that we find out about that have already been made decisions on without anybody in the community having input, without it being a public meeting. So I found out from friends this afternoon that there's a building on 27, a red building, and there's gonna be a mural painted on the red building. The town council is sponsoring, I don't know if that means paying for, that mural, and has hired an artist already to paint that mural. All that artist is going to do is present them with options for that mural, and then the town council will decide which of those options is going to be painted. There was never discussion at a meeting about this. There was never town input from the community, from those of us who are voters. I don't understand why this is happening outside of the meetings.
This same thing happened in high school before the murals. And it ended up that the general public, was not aware of this, and then they were presented to the building. And the building you're talking about, the PTO, or the new German restaurant.
And I think we kept going. There was something you had wanted to say previously about something, or no? No, maybe not. Okay.
So that, I think, comes down to, where Jacob is looking to add in transparency. Like, why is this that we're finding out about things after seemingly decisions have already been made?
You want to jump on that?
Thank you, campaign manager.
Looking at making sure everybody knows.
So yeah, so that's part of, like, going into it, what you want to do. You want to, what has been going on in this building? Cut it all down. Start from the beginning.
Yeah, and then that just goes to the point, okay, just communication, right? I mean, again, I'm not gonna accuse anyone of it. I don't think they're sneaking around, but just communication, right? Because then it gives the impression of like, hey, well,
I'm sorry.
No.
Communication was the thing.
Here comes another life story. I retired from teaching in the end of May. Travis King left because he moved out of town. That's why his seat became vacant in May. And so this whole thing kind of dropped in my lap, which is great. If you're a teacher, you can't do anything else because you're coaching or calling parents or doing the grade book or whatever else comes with teaching. But back on the communication, I was embarrassed with everything I was seeing on Facebook concerning what was going on with the town. So my first note is stop throwing stones at everybody. And second, if you're gonna throw a stone, make sure you hit them. And make sure that what you've got behind that stone is accurate with knowledge. The thing, now I'm hot. The thing about the mural, I instigated the mural. That does not have to go through town council. It does not have to go through you. It's something that is to please you and to brighten our town. If you go by there, it's like graffiti all over that building. They've done an excellent job with the restaurant, and we're all anticipating it opening and hoping that it's successful. Side note, they need good water. They need sewage. Septic tanks are not sufficient to run a good restaurant. You're having the septic tank issue. The Goose Nest had the septic tank issue, which is the feed store, if y'all are unfamiliar with that. There's a lot of issues that, including myself, we need to educate ourselves before we start saying, he did this, she did that, well, my idea's better. We want ideas, but we don't want me. I'm gonna say me. I don't want hostility.
Who's paying for the mural?
I think I am.
And the people that are doing it are 3 volunteers from the public school system of Fort White. They are not being paid. They are volunteering, and I received them. It took about a month for me to get them to commit because they have lives too, and they're teachers. So it grew from, do y'all know the Welcome to Fort White signs that have the trees on it? Those are shot. We need to have those redone. And so I first recruited them to do that because we could put lumber in the classroom and let the kids do it. And with the whole time, I was working behind their backs to secure the building for the mural. And now I've got that secured, and they agreed to do it, so I'll go to FFA or the art club at the high school. The art club did it last time with no payment, and Country Rivers paid for those tree signs. Are y'all familiar with the tree signs? And quite frankly, they're embarrassing, because they look like I did them, and they've been there at least 10 years.
So Catherine, if I can,
Cut the mic.
for,
Yes,
for,
If they're saying like, bring them to schools and letting them participate, that could be community service for
It is.
seniors and things
Yep,
of that
yep.
nature. So those are things that come back to the community
It is.
based on things.
Why,
that we
why
do.
can't this be publicized on some social
But-
media?
And you're right.
Right, and I think that's, you know,
Hey,
what-
we've got
right.
this going on, we need help, or we need donations.
But
Let's
the
all
whole
chip
thing
together.
is
I don't see any of
communication,
that.
because I don't see things until I hear it by
Word of
some
mouth.
word of mouth
Yes,
and things on the
gossip.
internet. And that's the only way I've been following things through
Yeah.
Facebook. But-
And you have to be careful how you say things on Facebook.
Right,
Because
but I mean, no
if it
offense.
sounds like it's coming from the town council, and if you say the town council is sponsoring, the words that you put out there are up for interpretation unless it can be further clarified.
It's not any kind of government ordinance or law that has to go through the town council. It's the community, which happens to be members of the school, which is our largest employment agency in this town, and the most populous place in this town. And it's just their effort to become,
Well,
It sounds like it's sponsored by.
that's your perception.
I can pull it up.
I wrote it.
Right, and I think I don't think anyone disagrees with it, right? I think,
The
Right,
town
right.
council is gonna pick the sketch, they're gonna come up with several sketches, and the town council will pick it, because I want it up fast, and I want it up cheap, and I want it up, professional, and I feel like you'll all be very happy with how it turns out. And one more thing,
Yeah.
if we wanna do a
Last
grant,
thing.
for example, sorry, who's running for mayor, you or me? If we wanted to do a sign like Fort White Cemetery, who do you know buried here? It can be through a grant where school organizations submit a sketch, and the winning sketch will be awarded that funding for the materials required to do the thing. So there's grants out there. Crazy me, I was trying to do something simple and nice for the community in a quick manner, and we're gonna continue to do that.
right, yeah, and I don't think anyone was throwing at you. I think they were just saying, hey, it's just a perception issue, right?
For sure, I wrote it.
The town
Yeah.
is sponsoring this project and will supervise and support it.
I
So,
wrote it.
yeah, so that sponsoring sounds like someone's paying for it. So
Yeah.
people were questioning.
Very clear.
Who's paying for it?
I've already said that I will pay for it.
Oh, yeah, I know, I'm just saying, you're saying that people are giving this information, people are reading what you said, it said it's a town sponsor. That sounds like payment or something. Right.
It's-
That's where the confusion.
Yeah, they're just, yeah, that's just where the confusion was, not that, right. All right, next question. Were you gonna say something?
Well, someone had mentioned about whether or not information, I guess from the council can be posted online, but they had a meeting, or several meetings ago, where they discussed, and that was before Terry got, before you got on the board, and they decided that they could not have a Facebook page for the town because they would have to pay a certain expense, because every comment then is considered public record, had to be stored and saved, and that's why the town of Fort White does not have a Facebook to clarify these things. That's why you have to go to the meetings and ask at the meetings.
But we need to know when the meetings are, so there's gotta be a better way.
Yeah, the meetings are on their website, they're published.
Yeah, and I think,
But like Maureen said, there's never notice
Whoops.
given out door to door on important ones.
Flip the
So
camera
sometimes there's a
accidentally,
meeting,
sorry.
there's 2 weeks on the agenda, sometimes there's 15 things on the agenda.
Turn that backer up. About the internet stuff.
Yeah.
If people don't have internet, it don't matter what kind of.
Because they
web page
can't
out
get to
there,
the
they don't
website
go.
anyway.
right, okay, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
You can call the town to confirm the time. You can go to the public library and use the internet. I'm very challenged technology-wise, so I can understand if that's not something you wanna do. But you can definitely call the town, and traditionally, they're the third Monday of every month. And this month, because the water is such an issue, that has to be decided, and the budget also has to be decided. So those items are definitely on the agenda for tomorrow.
Yeah, something like what she said, so in case of, so everyone knows, generally is the third Monday of that month. I thought you said, were they always at 5:30? I thought it was 6. I don't know why.
6.
It is 6, okay.
We anticipate tomorrow having more.
Tomorrow is a one-off, so, okay. All right,
Intermission?
yeah, I think unless, I'm good if I'll stay here back for a little bit, and if anyone has questions or comments, concerns, etc., just come see me, I'll be here.